Hello, and welcome to HERstory, a program where we tell the stories of women who have served the nation past and present. I'm Phyllis Wilson, president of the Women in Military Service for America Memorial Foundation and a retired Army Chief Warrant Officer 5. Today, I'm excited to present an interview with Sergeant Major Danyell Walters. Our own Community Engagement Manager, retired Army Master Sergeant Lachrisha Parker, sat down with Sergeant Major Walters to discuss her service and time as a sentinel at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Lachrisha?
I'm Lachrisha Parker, Community Engagement Manager for the Military Women's Memorial, and also retired Master Sergeant of United States Army. Today, I'm excited to sit down with Sergeant Major Danyell Walters, most recently serving as the Senior Enlisted Advisor for the U.S. Army Medical Logistics Command at Fort Detrick. She was the second woman and first African-American woman to serve as a tomb guard with the Old Guard nearly 25 years ago. At age 22, she took her first walk guarding the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier back in 1997. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, located just up the hill from the Military Women's Memorial at Arlington National Cemetery, honors the remains of the unidentified American soldiers and is guarded 24 hours a day. The hourly changing of the guard at the tomb is a solemn event that has attracted crowds in the nation's capital since it first opened to the public in 1932. Danyell, welcome. What made you join the military?
When I was in high school, back in 1992, when I first saw the Army recruiter who came out to speak with us, he was in his Class A uniform back then that we wore, and I just thought he looked so sharp, and he was really selling the Army story.
Yeah.
At the time, the Gulf War was going on, and I guess the combination of seeing what a soldier looked like in person, understanding what was happening with the war, that really was my inspiration to serve. However, my mother, my grandmother were very instrumental in me really having a plan when I graduated high school. Option A, go to college. Option B, go to college or go to college. But when they understood that my passion was to really be a military police officer because I wanted to be a state trooper, and I was able to convince them that the Army will allow me to be both. I could have a career and then still get to be a military police officer. It was really those pioneers in my family, my community, my school, my church, that kind of helped steer me in the direction and to where I ultimately went, in the military. Mm-hmm.
And you said, you started your career, you were about, 18, 19, graduating high school?
18, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How was that transition, leaving home, and you didn't go too far, right, for your basic training?
I may as well have been in Alaska, You would think that interstate training would have made things a bit easier, but you're still in isolation.
Yeah.
We didn't have cell phones back then, so I was calling collect to my grandmother's house, and of course, she was in an uproar because of the phone bill, but it was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough leaving and starting, this journey was very hard. But my mom always knew the right words to say,
And that's what we need, right? Those words of encouragement to continue on. And so you, after you did basic training in your AIT, you mentioned that you wanted to be an MP. Was that your first MOS?
Yes.
In duty? Okay.
Yes. So I was inspired by, like I said, I wanted to be, if not the Army state trooper, and then, but learning of the different career fields in the Army gave me an opportunity to really satisfy both, to serve my country, take care of my family, and then do a career that I was already interested in to begin with. That journey, led me to Washington State, which was my first assignment out west. And may as well have been in Alaska,
Right.
all the way from Alabama. Now I'm all the way in Washington State. But it was good. It was a good journey.
And how long was your training out there? And it was a typical 3-year tour,
In
first
Washington?
assignment?
No, so when I got there, I was in a military intelligence company,
Okay.
a battalion, I should say, and I was doing physical security. And then the MP Corps was significantly undermanned. So we were doing 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week, 18 years old, Private Wilson. Everybody's always asking me, you're out of uniform, where's your rank? You know,
Yeah.
because Private E1. But it was tough. I wanted to go to school. Opportunity just wasn't there. But at some point, we had the MPs who were doing patrol at a different unit that would come by and chat with us and talk to us and offer an opportunity for us to have a change in the physical security part of things and come be assigned with them to do patrol in a line unit. And that was great, right? So thankfully, my leaders, my non-commissioned officers allowed me that opportunity. And then once I was there with the 170th MP Company on Fort Lewis, that's when I learned of the Old Guard. Yes, so that opportunity led to the next. It was like little breadcrumbs.
That's right.
That paved my way to where I am now. So and I was only at Fort Lewis for about not even a full year.
Okay.
We were in formation one morning, and I was always that soldier, like my boots got to be shined, my uniform has to be creased, and this is what Drill Sergeant Gaulden said, so this is what I'm going to do, right?
Right, right.
So back then we had like 4 formations a day,
Yeah.
PT formation, 9 o'clock formation, 1300 formation to make sure you came back for lunch, then that one at 1700.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 4 formations a day. So it was the 9 o'clock formation, and the Old Guard were enlisting military police officers to serve. And so the first sergeant put out the information. Of course, the platoon sergeant's doing about face, saying, hey, I need 3 soldiers to go to this briefing over here. There's this unit from the Old Guard that's looking for some MPs. And my squad leader just looked down the lines, Sergeant Wilson, no, Private Wilson, I need for you to be at this building at this time to talk to these people. And you just say who, right? And execute.
Execute.
That's it. No questions asked. Had never heard of the Old Guard. Understanding that it was an infantry regiment, I'm still pondering how do I fit into an infantry regiment as a military police officer. And of course, like I said, I'm a private, not understanding all that the Army has to offer. Very familiar with what the MP Corps had to offer, but definitely not infantry. So when we were there, it was a group of us that went. And when we met with the platoon sergeant, he was like, hey, what do you think about this opportunity to come to DC, to be part of this MP company, during ceremonies. And for me, the only thing I knew is that I was 12 hours from Alabama.
That's right.
I'm not across the continental US. So this is a great opportunity for me.
Right.
So I'm like, sure, it sounds interesting. And within, a couple months later, I had orders to come to the Old Guard to be part of the 289th MP Company. And it happened just like that.
So you're here, right, at Arlington National Cemetery, and in the Old Guard, should I say.
Yes, yes.
Please share your experience about being a female, and I don't know if you had known that it was one female already with the Old Guard. Did you know that you were the second female?
So when the company was being formed, it was part of the diversifying of the Old Guard.
Okay.
Though there were women serving there, they were not allowed to do ceremonial duties. So our company of women were the first company that was not infantry to perform ceremonial duties. So when you arrive, you have to go through this very regimented training program, and that's your ceremonial training program, and you have to pass that phase in order to even perform ceremonies. So I get there in October, October 94. By November, I'm in process and I'm ready to start training. Did whatever the standard time was for training, and then we go right into now having the company miners fully trained with enough people to start doing ceremonies for the old guard. So it was just your typical funeral honors duties that we were able to later do. So as we became more integrated into the old guard, opportunities started opening up. So we were then allowed, if you have been serving for a year, you can also compete to be assigned to one of the specialty platoons. And then with that, with us all coming around the same time, Heather was the first. Well, she was one of two because we had a male MP to come first, and then her. And then when my time came where I could leave, then I also, I guess, auditioned to be a tomb sentinel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did not know of the duty itself. All I know is that, like, every month, each of the platoons will, I guess, recruit for the soldiers to be a part of their platoon. So when it was time for the tomb guards, it's like silence in the room, right? You have this spotlight shining on this soldier that's a picture perfect image of what a soldier, represents. And just the visual of the tomb guard just was like, that's me. I have to do this, right? This is me. Just the standard, the discipline, the attention to detail. I was sold. This is why I'm serving, right? I have to do this. Once I was convincing enough to my platoon that I'm gonna give this a shot, this is where I need to be, I got the seal of approval, and then May of 95.
Wow.
No, 96, May of 96, I started on my journey as a trainee to be a tomb sentinel.
When you go through the process, do they tell you the duration and how long it will be, or you're just passing tests?
So just to kind of share how it all happens, you're basically stripped down, like as a person, right? Because it's a very solemn duty. You learn to understand that it's not about you. You're the face, because the unknowns we can't see, right? But this duty is so not about you. It's really about selfless service. It's really about having the opportunity to honor our unknown soldiers from those war periods. And it's really about the veterans who survived those wars and still come there to this day to pay homage to their comrades that are laying in state at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers. You have to be prepared for the grind, the grit, and all that's required for you to really be transformed to a tomb sentinel. And that's what it is, a transformation.
When you walk those 21 steps, in your mind, what's going through your mind when you're on that sacred ground?
Yeah.
What goes through your mind?
Really, you're so in the moment. Your purpose, right? All the training, and it all comes to fruition when you're out on the platform. Because, it's really, as I mentioned, a solemn duty.
Right.
You understand the sacredity of the unknowns that you're protecting. You understand that there's our citizens, our American citizens, sons and daughters, great grandchildren of veterans who fought in foreign wars or, that have served, period, really look up to you as an emblem, a symbol of that soldierly camaraderie, that bond that transcends no matter what unit, organization, tab, or badge you wore. So really, you look past that, right? And you focus on being the most perfect version of yourself that you could possibly humanly be. And that's where your focus is. How do I make every step perfect? How do I make every manual arm movement perfect, right?
Right.
Because that's what I'm here to do and here to be.
It never stops.
No. No, it never stops.
It never stops.
Right. It never stops, and it can't.
Mm-hmm.
Because on or off duty, you're a tomb guard. You're telling the Army story, and you carry that with you. And no matter if you put a tomb guard in a formation of regular Army soldiers, you will know that's the tomb guard right there.
Absolutely.
Right? There's just a certain persona, and I am just humble. I'm blessed to have had the opportunity to be on that platform. I'm humble and blessed to have met the tomb guards that I served with, who I'm just going to say allowed me the opportunity
Right.
to be part of them, to be part of the tomb guard family. Because I know for them it was equally challenging. You got a woman, African American, and we got to train her to be one of us? Mm-hmm. Really? And I imagine. So I think for me, it was really important for me to really be who I am,
Right.
To be genuine in what inspired me, or how I was inspired when I saw the tomb guard, when they were doing the recruiting, for soldiers to join the platoon, to really say, use me, right? I'm here, right? Let's do it. Let's get after the business, like train me, here I am. And so I was, willing to really give it my all, mm-hmm. To really show that this is an opportunity for everyone,
right?
Because when you talk about diversifying our military, when you're talking about having equitable opportunities, that was really an opportunity to show America that we are a diverse Army. Because you have to evolve, right? You have to evolve as a military, as with corporate society,
right?
So change is necessary sometimes, because we want to make sure that we are adequately representing what's the trend in society. What is it that today's youth or tomorrow's soldier is interested in, right? So you have women that are interested in being infantry.
Right.
Why not let them be infantry? Or being ranger. Why not let them be ranger? So sometimes it takes questioning preconceived norms. It takes questioning, why can't we? Why won't we?
Mm-hmm.
Because more than likely it's probably not a can't, we just won't. Because it hadn't never been challenged before.
That's right.
And had someone not challenged, why don't we have women serving in the Old Guard, I wouldn't be here, My path would have probably went in a different direction. Because as you can see early in my career, I came to the Old Guard, right? And I was allowed the opportunity to be a tomb guard.
And how long did you serve with the Old Guard?
Well, the Old Guard itself, I did a total of 5 years in the Old Guard itself. So I did 18 months at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. A lot of it was training, and then once I was awarded my badge, I did my time there as a, now badge sentinel.
Okay.
And then when I was transitioning from the platoon, from the honor guard platoon, there was an opportunity to serve as a Old Guard recruiter.
Okay.
To screen for applicants to be part of the Old Guard. And of course, I would be the first female. So I saw that as an opportunity to talk, the Old Guard story, to share the opportunities that was there. And then likewise, I had an opportunity to go to Fort McClellan to talk to MPs, and then too, to share in this opportunity that's now there for us as an MP Corps.
Right.
So I spent my last year, because I enlisted for 5 years as an MP, so I spent my final year as an Old Guard recruiter, and that's when I re-enlisted and changed career paths to be a medical logistician. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
A little shift, right?
Shift.
There's a little shift.
Yeah,
So,
a shift.
And you have now changed career, right?
Yes.
In your MOS.
Yes.
How did you like that compared to that MP?
Yes, great question. I think for me, had never met a medical logistics soldier before. It was what I saw as an opportunity, because at this point I am Sergeant Wilson. I knew that I wanted to change career fields, and with this one I saw that the training requirement was very minimal, and I saw that it dealt with patient care.
Okay.
Granted, it's service because you're providing the supplies, but the whole logistics arena when it comes to patient care was very interesting for me. So I was excited and curious about, what this field was all about. And so, I gave it a shot, of course, and here I am today, medical logistician, sergeant major. So I found it to be very rewarding when you see the other side of doing what we do as soldiers, right? Now you're wounded, now you're injured, or you may have a toothache, or you may need to go to the clinic for whatever. You see the other side of taking care of soldiers from a healthcare perspective. So for me, it gave me a lot of opportunities to really get back into school, freed up some of those 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week that I was grinding through as an MP. So it opened a lot of doors for me to have different experiences, because I still wanted to serve and stay Army. Because after leaving the old guard, it really is really what's really going to be next, right? After you've done this and you've served as a tomb guard, what else could there possibly be in the Army that's going to interest me at this point? But I wanted to still serve, so I was willing to give this career field a try. And it has been most rewarding, I must say, to have this opportunity. And because of it, I met my husband. Otherwise, I probably would have never set foot on Fort Detrick, Maryland. Okay. So I was able to meet my husband, Michael, who's been so supportive. When you talk about a 28-year, which will be 29-year on my retirement, you talk about being a wife and a mother of two boys, now 14 and 4, Mikkel and Michael, and 4 deployments. And having your family intact and having the support of my husband, who never served, but was so supportive through it all, through all the deployments and all the late nights, mommy missed dinners. It was always in the microwave, waiting for me when I got home. So the Army has given me so much, and I just, I'm just so blessed and thankful to have had this opportunity to serve, to have met and started my family while serving, and to be able to retire and my family still intact, because it's very difficult to be a wife, mother, and soldier.
This is oh so true.
Yes, it's very difficult, and words can't really describe what that requires of a woman. And I'm thankful to, have had more good times than bad with my family. And thankful to have still had the support of my mom and my grandmother to watch our kids when schedules just wasn't there. So it's been good. It's been good.
And it takes a village, right?
It does take a village.
And it's not just words.
Absolutely.
It takes a village.
Yes.
And we have that tribe of women and family members that support and go along as well. So I understand, in being a spouse of a retiree, and also a retiree myself from the military. And so I'm happy that you took the time out to share your story. I call you a trailblazer. I know you don't call yourself a trailblazer, but those that follow behind you, we know that you are a trailblazer, and I appreciate everything that you have done and continue to do. And I want to congratulate you and your family on your retirement and much success. Please come back to the Women's Memorial here in Arlington, your second home.
Absolutely.
Your second home.
Late nights here.
That's right.
Long days, late nights, yes.
Yes, and is there anything that you want to share with others that we have not covered?
No, first I thank you for your kind words. I thank you for this opportunity to share my story at the eve of my retirement. It's been a very rewarding career. And I thank my family for their support throughout this journey. But for me, what what I think that is very important to understand is that when you have a goal, or if you are inspired by an opportunity, the question then is, what are you going to allow to stand in your way to get there? Or if you're going to allow those barriers to be there to get there. And two, are you willing to do what it takes to get there? And if this is what you really want, go for it, right? Go for it.
Yes.
And it doesn't take it ever being done before for you to try it, right? Why not be the first? Why not?
Why not?
Right? So I think that for me, I understand now what my story means to so many. I understand that just like when I saw Drill Sergeant Gaulden, African-American female serving, she inspired me without having a personal conversation. And sometimes it just takes someone to emulate, someone that looks a little like you that you could probably relate to and get inspired. And that's who she was for me early, before I was even trained to be a soldier. I was still in basic training, right? Inspired early. So if my story can further inspire, and it's not gender specific, it's not, it's so not.
It's not.
It's really just inspiring someone to take advantage of an opportunity to go and land uncharted, or to pursue a path that's already been trailed and blazed before you.
Right.
Go for it. And really be prepared for all that it takes to endure the journey to get to achieving your goal.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for this time, and I appreciate you, and thank you everyone for joining us, and Sergeant Major Walters, I appreciate you taking the time out to visit with us and tell your story.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity. Yes, thank you.